Most people assume the most beautiful places in America are massive cities or famous national parks. That belief quietly hides some of the most charming towns in plain sight. Many travelers feel burned out by crowded destinations, rushed schedules, and places that look good online but feel empty in real life. Based on publicly available travel and livability research, small towns with preserved character, walkable streets, and strong local identity consistently deliver deeper, more memorable experiences. Honestly, what surprised me while researching this list is how often people visit these towns once and carry the feeling with them long after they leave. Beauty here is not loud or overwhelming. It is woven into daily life, landscapes, and community rhythm. By the end of this video, you'll see 10 towns that people either return to again and again or think about long after they leave, starting with number 10. Number 10. San Luis Obispo, California. Number 10 takes us to San Luis Obispo on California's Central Coast, a town that quietly delivers something many travelers feel is missing from modern trips. A place that feels calm, welcoming, and genuinely human. Travel trends and quality of life indicators consistently highlight San Luis Obispo for its walkable downtown, scenic surroundings, and strong sense of community. What surprised me while researching this town is how naturally everything slows down here. From shaded streets lined with independent shops to a downtown layout that invites wandering rather than rushing. You'll notice the town's farmers markets play a central role in daily life, drawing people together with local produce, live music, and food made from nearby farms, turning ordinary evenings into shared moments. The Santa Lucia Mountains rise just beyond the city, offering trails with sweeping views, while the Pacific Ocean sits close enough to influence the climate with cool coastal air that locals quietly appreciate. Historic landmarks like Mission San Luis Obispo de Tolosa give the town a deep sense of identity, blending early California history with a modern creative scene shaped by galleries, performances, and local art. Nearby Edna Valley adds another layer of charm with vineyards shaped by coastal fog and rolling hills, producing wines known for balance and restraint rather than flash. Honestly, San Luis Obispo feels less like a destination built to impress, and more like a place designed to be lived in, which is exactly why it leaves such a lasting impression and makes the transition into number 9 feel effortless. Number 9. Missoula, Montana. Number 9 brings us to Missoula, Montana, a mountain town that quietly challenges the idea that beauty and culture only belong to big cities or famous resort destinations. Widely cited livability indicators and outdoor recreation data consistently place Missoula among the most appealing small towns in the American West, thanks to its rare mix of natural access, resilience, and creative energy. What surprised me when researching Missoula is how deeply the outdoors is woven into everyday life, not as a tourist feature, but as part of the town's identity. The Clark Fork River runs straight through the city, shaping daily routines with riverside trails, fishing access, and open space that feels integral rather than decorative. 5 mountain ranges surround the town, creating a dramatic horizon that changes with the seasons and offers immediate access to hiking, cycling, and wildlife viewing without long drives. You'll notice Missoula also stands out for how it responds to environmental realities, with community planning efforts designed to maintain public health, open spaces, and access to clean indoor environments during challenging conditions. Cultural life adds another unexpected layer, anchored by independent bookstores, local breweries, music venues, and the historic Wilma Theater, which has been hosting performances for generations and remains a gathering place downtown. The presence of the University of Montana brings youthful energy and arts programming that keeps the town feeling active without overwhelming its small-town character. Honestly, Missoula feels like a place where people balance adventure with reflection, where rugged landscapes meet thoughtful community values, and where a single visit often leaves people thinking longer than they planned, which makes the transition into number 8 especially interesting. Number 8. Flagstaff, Arizona. Number 8 takes us to Flagstaff, Arizona, a town that instantly challenges what most people expect from the desert Southwest. Sitting at nearly 7,000 feet above sea level, Flagstaff feels more alpine than arid, with pine forests, crisp mountain air, and seasonal snowfall shaping daily life. Regional planning data and community sustainability reports frequently highlight Flagstaff for its strong culture of reuse, environmental awareness, and outdoor accessibility. What surprised me when researching this town is how seriously residents treat the idea that waste is not the end of a product's life, but the beginning of something new. Community-led repair clinics and creative reuse spaces have become part of local culture, quietly keeping thousands of items out of landfills while bringing people together. You'll notice the pace here feels thoughtful rather than sleepy, supported by a walkable downtown filled with second-hand shops, local cafes, and historic buildings tied to the town's railroad past. One of Flagstaff's most defining features is its relationship with the night sky, protected through strict lighting standards that earned it global recognition as a place where stars still dominate the horizon. Observatories perched above town continue a long tradition of astronomical discovery, turning ordinary nights into unforgettable experiences. Surrounding landscapes add another layer of charm, with volcanic fields, ponderosa pine forests, and easy access to trails that feel wild yet close to home. Honestly, Flagstaff feels like a place that protects what most towns slowly lose: darkness, creativity, and a sense of shared responsibility, making it a powerful contrast as we move into number 7. Number 7. Hanover, New Hampshire. Number 7 brings us to Hanover, New Hampshire, a town that quietly proves charm does not need to shout to be felt. Tucked along the Connecticut River and framed by rolling hills and dense forests, Hanover blends classic New England beauty with a lived-in intellectual energy that feels welcoming rather than exclusive. Community planning indicators and regional livability metrics frequently point to Hanover's walkability, environmental goals, and strong civic engagement as defining features. What surprised me while researching this town is how seamlessly daily life flows without the need for long drives or constant noise. With a compact downtown where bookstores, cafes, and gathering spaces naturally pull people together. You'll notice the presence of Dartmouth College shapes the town's rhythm in subtle ways, bringing cultural events, lectures, and performances that keep the atmosphere vibrant while preserving a small-town feel. Locals often describe Hanover as a place where nature and routine coexist, where bike paths and river trails connect neighborhoods to wooded landscapes that change dramatically with the seasons. Sustainability commitments are woven into local decision-making, with long-term energy goals and community initiatives that reflect careful stewardship rather than quick fixes. The Connecticut River Trail offers peaceful stretches for walking and cycling beneath towering trees, creating moments of calm that feel almost cinematic in autumn and deeply restorative in quieter months. Honestly, Hanover feels refined without being rigid, thoughtful without being distant, and quietly beautiful in a way that stays with you long after you leave, which makes the transition into number 6 feel like a natural next step. Number 6. Ithaca, New York. Number 6 takes us to Ithaca, New York, a town that feels like nature and progressive thinking decided to grow up in the same place. Set in the heart of the Finger Lakes region, Ithaca is surrounded by rolling hills, deep gorges, and more than 100 waterfalls. A landscape that shapes daily life in ways you can feel almost immediately. Regional sustainability initiatives and municipal planning efforts have long positioned Ithaca as a leader in climate-conscious policy, with ambitious goals centered on long-term carbon reduction and community resilience. What surprised me when researching Ithaca is how naturally those ideas show up in everyday experiences rather than slogans. From a thriving local food economy to neighborhoods designed around walkability and access to green space. You'll notice the town's energy peaks at the Ithaca Farmers Market, where musicians play. Local producers sell everything from fresh bread to handmade goods, and Cayuga Lake quietly frames the scene in the background. Academic institutions nearby contribute to the town's intellectual and cultural pulse, supporting theaters, lectures, and innovation, while still allowing Ithaca to feel approachable and human-scaled. Outdoor life is never far away, with trails leading to dramatic gorge overlooks, cascading falls like Talganic and Buttermilk, and lakefront paths that invite reflection more than rush. Honestly, Ithaca feels like a place where ideas, nature, and community reinforce each other, creating a charm that feels thoughtful rather than curated, which sets up a striking contrast as we move into number 5. Number 5. Lander, Wyoming. Number 5 brings us to Lander, Wyoming, a town that feels powered less by tourism and more by the people who genuinely care for the land around them. Nestled at the edge of the Wind River Range, Lander is surrounded by wide-open skies, rugged peaks, and landscapes that feel raw rather than curated. Outdoor recreation data and land stewardship reports frequently highlight Lander as a hub for climbers, trail runners, anglers, and backcountry skiers who treat the environment as a shared responsibility rather than a backdrop. What surprised me while researching this town is how deeply conservation is embedded into everyday life, with local organizations working directly alongside federal land managers to maintain trails, protect wildlife habitats, and preserve access for future generations. You'll notice the energy here feels grounded and authentic, where mornings often start on nearby trails or in Sinks Canyon, a geological wonder where a river disappears underground before re-emerging downstream. The town itself balances that rugged spirit with culture, anchored by spaces like the Lander Art Center, which showcases regional artists inspired by the surrounding high desert and mountain terrain. Evenings often end in historic local gathering spots that still carry an Old West soul without feeling frozen in time. Community-driven initiatives, small businesses, and a strong sense of mutual reliance give Lander a rhythm that feels rare in modern America. Honestly, Lander feels like a place where people don't just live near nature, they actively protect it, creating a sense of purpose that lingers long after you leave, which makes number 4 an especially interesting contrast. Number 4. Vail, Colorado. Number 4 takes us to Vail, Colorado, a town that quietly proves luxury and sustainability do not have to cancel each other out. Set high in the Rocky Mountains within the Gore Range, Vail is often associated with alpine beauty and world-class scenery. Yet, regional planning and environmental stewardship metrics consistently show it is also one of the most thoughtfully managed mountain towns in the country. What surprised me when researching Vail is how much of the experience is designed to reduce friction rather than add spectacle, from a free town-wide transit system that minimizes traffic to pedestrian-focused villages that make walking the default rather than the exception. You'll notice the town feels remarkably calm for a destination with global recognition. With cobblestone streets, alpine-style architecture, and open plazas that encourage lingering instead of rushing. Beneath the surface, extensive infrastructure supports environmental protection, including advanced wildlife corridors, land use planning, and systems that reduce road salt and vehicle congestion in winter months. The Betty Ford Alpine Gardens add another layer of charm, serving both as a peaceful retreat and a living collection of high-altitude plant species adapted to changing climates. Beyond the slopes, miles of trails wind through meadows and forests that feel accessible yet carefully protected. Honestly, Vail feels less like a resort built around visitors and more like a town designed to function beautifully every day, which makes the shift toward number 3 feel especially compelling. Number 3. Silver City, New Mexico. Number 3 brings us to Silver City, New Mexico, a town that feels like a living reminder that innovation and resilience are nothing new in the American Southwest. Set in the high desert near the Gila Wilderness, Silver City blends dramatic landscapes, deep history, and a creative spirit that feels refreshingly unpolished. Regional conservation data and community development indicators often point to Silver City for its growing use of solar energy, adaptive reuse of historic spaces, and strong local arts economy. What surprised me when researching this town is how seamlessly the past and present overlap, from the nearby Gila cliff dwellings, where ancient communities built temperature-regulating homes into natural caves, to a modern downtown that celebrates artists, makers, and small businesses. You'll notice red dots painted along the sidewalks, guiding visitors through a dense cluster of galleries, studios, and cultural spaces, turning an ordinary walk into an interactive experience. Cafes and gathering spots are designed around shaded courtyards and water features, offering relief from the desert sun, while reinforcing a slower, more intentional pace of life. The Big Ditch Park adds another unexpected layer, transforming a former main street damaged by flooding into a green pedestrian corridor that now anchors the town socially and environmentally. Honestly, Silver City feels like a place that learned long ago how to live within its landscape rather than against it, creating a charm that feels genuine and quietly inspiring, which makes the move into number 2 feel even more intriguing. Number 2. Arcata, California. Number 2 takes us to Arcata, California, a town that quietly solved problems most cities are still debating. Set along Northern California's rugged coastline near ancient redwood forests, Arcata feels intentionally designed around balance rather than expansion. Long-standing environmental planning records and community development indicators often highlight Arcata for its pioneering approach to sustainability, especially its innovative wetland system that naturally treats wastewater while doubling as a protected habitat for birds and native wildlife. What surprised me when researching Arcata is how seamlessly those values show up in everyday life, rather than policy language. From a compact, walkable town plaza anchored by local co-ops to neighborhoods designed around bikes, foot traffic, and shared green space, you'll notice the town's energy feels calm but not quiet, supported by an arts scene, independent cafes, and a population that values participation over spectacle. Just beyond downtown, trails wind through the Arcata Community Forest, where towering redwoods create a sense of scale that instantly reframes daily worries. The nearby coastline adds another layer of charm, with open beaches and coastal dunes that feel wild yet accessible. Cultural experiences lean toward the simple and restorative, including long-standing sauna traditions and gathering spaces designed for connection rather than consumption. Honestly, Arcata feels like a place that decided early on what kind of future it wanted and built toward it steadily, which makes the reveal of number 1 especially powerful. Number 1. Moab, Utah. Number 1 brings us to Moab, Utah, a town that completely rewrites what people think sustainable tourism and small-town beauty can look like in America. Set against towering red rock formations and vast desert skies, Moab sits between arches and canyonlands. Yet the town itself has become just as compelling as the landscapes that surround it. Widely cited tourism management data and regional conservation initiatives highlight Moab as a place actively working to protect the fragile environment that draws visitors in the first place. What surprised me when researching Moab is how openly the town acknowledges the pressure of popularity and responds with education rather than restriction, encouraging visitors to respect trails, preserve delicate soil ecosystems, and support local businesses that align with conservation values. You'll notice Moab feels alive from early morning to late night, with hikers and cyclists greeting sunrise over red rock mesas, while downtown remains walkable, relaxed, and deeply connected to the outdoors. Cultural life here blends adventure with community, supported by local breweries, art spaces, and small shops that reflect the desert's rugged character rather than trying to soften it. Dark sky preservation adds another layer of magic, with nights revealing stars so vivid they remind you how rare true darkness has become in much of the country. Honestly, Moab feels like a place where beauty, responsibility, and awe exist side by side, where a single visit can quietly change how you see travel, nature, and even yourself. And that realization lands hard in the final moments ahead. What becomes clear after looking at these towns through travel patterns, livability indicators, and long-term community trends is that beauty in America isn't disappearing. It's just concentrating in places that value pace, place, and people over noise. You might notice something unsettling after seeing places like these. How quickly loud destinations start to feel hollow by comparison. These towns don't compete for attention. They quietly earn it. And once you recognize that difference, it becomes hard to unsee it, because the most charming places don't ask you to stay. They simply linger with you long after you've gone.